Welcome back to All the Cars I've Loved Before, your authoritative podcast on automotive nostalgia, where our guests are unique. Each auto has an era, and every car tells a story. So, it's time to plug in, get a little grease under the nails, and slip on that favorite car-themed t-shirt, hat, or jacket. And my favorite part of the show before we get Doug and our guest in here is to one of my favorite parts. Let's welcome back our listeners from all over this short track we call Earth. So over the past week, we know by the magic of our podcast platform, Engineering Analytics, who's listening and where they come from. So welcome back to listeners from countries such as Switzerland, Italy, Sweden. And Doug, I'm so excited with this. We had an entrant from a country we've never had before. Welcome to our listeners in the country of Seychelles, which is an island republic in the Western Indian Ocean, comprising about 115 islands with lush tropical vegetation, beautiful beaches, and a wide variety of marine life. Situated between latitudes 4 and 11, I think, minutes and longitudes of 46 and 56 east. The major islands are located about 1,000 miles east of Kenya, about 700 miles northeast of Madagascar. So that'll give you an idea of the general region. The capital, Victoria, is situated on the island of, I don't know if I'm saying that's right, but Mahe. So, Doug, have you heard of the nation of Seychelles?
I have not.
And if not, you've heard about it now. And if you're listening and you want me to do any commercials for the Office of Tourism, I'm here. You can underwrite the show. Feel free, reach out. We also want to welcome back our listeners in the cities of Augusta, Georgia, a little closer to home, Wake Forest, North Carolina, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Hamilton, Ontario. Welcome. And I know we have repeat listeners and all those, so it's just wonderful to have you back. Feel free to drop us a line. Let us know how things are going in your neck of the woods. And let's bring in our co-host with almost. He's got all the options. And, he came in last place for the Piston Cup 5 years running. So you got to love the consistency. He's Doug. Welcome. How you doing, partner? What's the weather up there?
I'm doing great. Great to be back here with you as always.
Indeed. So what's happening in your world? I see for the first time in a long time, I think you need to get another car-themed t-shirt. You're actually wearing something with a collar, which is kind of amazing and inspiring. I didn't know you owned a shirt with a collar. It's usually a Mazda t-shirt, or we've got one of our friends sends us a Tom Young t-shirt, Fisher Brothers t-shirt. What's with the collar?
Had to go to work today. It's been one of those days.
I know.
Actually, yesterday too. Yeah. I had to leave the house. We'll just say that.
In Florida, where I am, I'm not too far from the water. But what you're wearing would be considered a tuxedo. It doesn't get a whole lot more formal than what you're wearing. So, collar in Florida.
I've seen you in a tuxedo T-shirt.
I know.
Maybe I need one of those.
Never. Yeah. That's about as dressed up as I like to get, especially when it's humid. Weather's turning here, which is wonderful. But, hey, what can you do about the humidity? Not a whole lot. So, hey, if you like what you're hearing, please follow and tell a friend. Tell a family member, coworker, a friend, tell an enemy, because you know what we do? This show brings people together all over the world. Check us out at carsloved.com. Again, carsloved.com. We also have a link tree, and Doug has it memorized. It is
linktr.ee/carsloved.
Yeah, we like to think of that as our digital switchboard. You can get to all of our social media presences, websites, where we are.
Podcast,
yeah. And while you're there, please leave a review. Let us know what you think, and we'll read you. We like to read them out on the air, the especially fun ones. So thanks for everybody who's left a review, and please do leave a review if you make it to our space. All right. So with no further ado, I'm going to toss it back over to Doug, and I want to know how today's very fun guest ended up in your virtual garage.
Well, we seem to have this wonderful thing in Maryland, especially on the Eastern Shore. There are more car lovers than I ever would have imagined. So my newly rediscovered friend from high school, James McCrae, who's passed several people over to us, has passed this nice gentleman, Dirk Dekker, over, who is a Porsche-phile to say the least. He's heavily involved in the Porsche Club high-performance driving events, which is really an educational, very safety-oriented event. I've actually went to one about 15 years ago in my 911, and let's just say it rained all day, and it was not fun for me. But I know the instructors, and Dirk might have been one of them. They were serious 100% of the time.
Well, fantastic. Dirk, welcome to our show. So pleased to have you.
Oh, thank you.
So, so Dirk, actually, you teach racing. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it's a basis of racing. We start off with under controlled circumstances, and as people develop, it's a initiation into racing world. What we do is the educational part of it, where we teach from car handling, high performance handling, a lot of safety issues, and with controlled to a degree that passing is with signals only, and we do pass in corners with advanced groups, but only with a signal. So you're not competing for a corner. There's no official timing. You can time yourself, but you're not. It's not and start a race, end of race. It's no. It's for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, and you just.
That might be one of the coolest hobbies that we've had on here. So, I mean, that is pretty well. And I want to ask you, what kind of student was Doug when he was there with you?
I don't recall him.
That speaks volumes. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was hoping you would malign him in front of our listenership. That was really what we was going
Christian,
for.
What I will say is, I heard somebody say, "Hey, did you see that? See that black 911? The guy spun it around like I don't know how many times in the rain." I'm like, that was me. He's like, oh, okay.
But not on purpose. He wasn't trying to make a statement. I do remember when you were there, you said it was harder than it looks. And Dirk, you probably get that a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, I started instructing back in 1998 with a Porsche club. And the Potomac region is my region, Northern Virginia, Central Maryland, and so on. And Summit Point is our home track. We do go to Watkins Glen. We go to VIR. We used to go to Mid-Ohio. I've been up with Porsche clubs up to Canada a couple of times, to Mosport and Mont-Tremblant. I've been to Lime Rock. And I haven't done some of the southern tracks, unfortunately. But it's very controlled. And since 1998, we do maybe most of our events are 3-day events, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And through that time, I don't know how many thousand students.
Oh, wow.
So, no, I've been a lot. And I've also done some instructing for some other groups occasionally. I go out for Friday at the track for Summit Point group, and other groups, Audi, BMW, and so on.
Oh, I see. So when you say track, is there a track laid out? Do you sort of commandeer a huge parking lot, or these sort of driving events with that?
These is like Watkins Glen. I'm going to in 2 weeks' time. These are professional or definitely SCCA type amateur, but run professionally. No, they are laid out, usually 1.5 to 3 miles long, something like that. 10 to 20 corners, depending, and permanent with barricades and gravel pits and tar walls, and a very structured event with fire, ambulance, everything else available, just in case.
This is not like Florida, Christian. This is serious.
There are actual rules and laws. Yeah, man. Dirk is on top of it. That I can tell for sure.
Yeah.
I was chief instructor for a while, so and now I'm safety chair and look after safety aspects and so on.
Yep, and I remember they were pretty serious about that. Number one thing, tire pressure and making sure the lug nuts were tight was the first thing. Yep.
Battery is tight. We do a
Yep.
thorough check
Yep.
2 weeks or so beforehand on a lift and at a dealer or a shop, and then every day at the track, we'd have a quick look through brake pads and lug nuts and any leaks, brake fluid, things like that. So we're a quick check over just to make sure.
Yep. No, all about safety. And I did want to ask two things. So, how often do you have to change tires or buy new tires for your car?
Hi, this is Christian with To All the Cars I've Loved Before, your authoritative podcast on automotive nostalgia. Hey, have you ever thought to yourself, I love this show so much, I wish it would come out weekly instead of bi-weekly? Well, guess what? You asked, we answered. Henceforth, that means from now on, you're going to get a piping hot new episode of To All the Cars I've Loved Before, weekly instead of bi-weekly. How do you like that? We will see you on your mobile telephone streaming device of choice weekly from now on.
I used to get through about 2 sets a year.
Okay.
That's 8 tires.
Yeah.
No,
Man.
No, they are consumables.
Yep. Yep. They do wear out, and they're fun. And do you tow your cars to the track? I noticed you have we're going to talk about your cars, but I noticed you do have a Cayenne, which could be used for towing.
Yeah. I used to tow my 914.
Okay.
On my 911, originally I had the little trailer I pulled behind it with tires and a big toolbox, a little two-wheel Harbor Freight trailer hooked up the back of it by a 911, and I'd drive it up to Watkins Glen or Mid-Ohio or wherever. But 914.6 was not a street car. So then I had a trailer and I had an old Durango that I pulled it with.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big commitment beyond tires, right?
Yeah.
Toolbox, extra wheels, extra parts.
Yeah. And then if you're have 110 octane fuel.
Okay.
Now I believe it's something around $15-16 a gallon.
Oh wow!
So it can get get pretty high, and you get through about 4 gallons a session.
Oh wow! Okay,
that's on pump gas or on whatever kind of gas. About 4 gallons a half-hour session as an approximate. So you're definitely burning a few brake pads and rotors and other.
I see. Yeah. I'm just kind of looking at the Watkins Glen schedule here. So is that kind of an open track when y'all have the events there?
No, we have our event is actually Mother's Day weekend, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We usually drive up on Thursday evenings, and we rent the whole track, including with flagging, corner workers, the emergency personnel, everything else, and control. And we supply the grid, checking people as we go onto track and so on. And we supply the instructors. And it is a Porsche club, but we have Corvettes, we have Alfa Romeos sometimes, we have virtually anything, VWs, GTIs, Hondas, anything except SUVs.
Yep. I think when I went, somebody came with his girlfriend and they had a rented Hyundai, and they let her drive on the track in the rented Hyundai.
Yeah, as long as it's checked, as long as it's been checked, then no.
Yeah, just Hyundai sedan.
Yep.
Is what it was.
No SUVs allowed. This looks like so much fun. Let me brainstorm how I can get out of work and join you up there. But boy, that sounds interesting. All right. Now, while I'm doing that, I'm going to hand you over to Doug here, who's going to put you in his old time machine, take you 88 miles an hour, and we'll flash back, Dirk, to where it all started for you. So what was your first car? And if we could go even a little further back, could we talk about your mom a little bit? Because she had a really neat car.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she had a MGTC, I think it would have been maybe a TD back in 1950s. I remember it. I was 4 years old, 5 years old, or something like that. And I do remember driving around in that little thing around in Hong Kong. It was.
Oh
And
boy.
then, yeah, then they had a Citroen, a Light 15 Avant traction. And I learned to drive on that basically when I was about 11 years old in parking lots and on the back roads around Hong Kong. So I was
Yeah,
driving from a young age.
I see that. Yeah, that resonates with me right now. My youngest of my three teenage sons is just about to get his learner's permit. So we're going to be
Mhm.
doing the same thing. We're going to be looking for big, nice, empty parking lots
Yeah,
to take
yeah,
dad's old beat up SUV, not everyday driver, but one that he can tear up and just sort
yeah,
of knock into light poles and that sort of thing.
yeah.
But sorry, Doug, go ahead.
No, no, I think that's a lot of fun. And yeah, I can't. Yeah, good luck with that, Christian. Well, you've gotten a few kids into cars, and they haven't died, so we're in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they.
I can put in the plug for the Tire Rack Street Survival that
Oh yes,
a lot of
yes,
the clubs,
please.
Corvette Club, BMW Club, are the foundation for it, and we rent a big parking lot or something like that and set it up with cones and do exercises for. You have to have a driver's license, a permit, and some road experience, and teach slalom, braking exercises, skid pad, and then a lot of safety issues. And it's an excellent program for kids. I can highly recommend it.
Can
Love
they
that. Thank you.
can they bring their own car
Yes,
to
you
that?
bring your own
Okay,
car. They will allow for that. They will allow
okay,
SUVs,
okay.
pickup trucks. They want you to drive whatever you normally
Hmm.
drive,
Okay, wonderful.
whatever your
No, I'm
parents let you drive.
Yep. No, I'm thinking about my daughter who's almost 18, has been driving a year.
Yep,
She's
that's
got a
exactly the
she's got
time.
a CRV, but she just drives around.
Yep,
She's hasn't driven in bad weather. She
yep,
probably
yep,
hope fingers crossed hasn't had any
I
yep,
emergencies.
yep,
I love that though. So let's get some of that information if we can from Dirk and maybe
Yep.
put those
We
links
will.
on the show notes because I'd like to learn more and I'm sure our audience would like to
yep,
learn more, especially
yep,
for the young driver.
Yep.
yep,
We
yep.
will. We will. Absolutely. So Christian wanted to hear about your mom's car, and I
Yep.
want to hear about your first car, which is yet another car I had not heard of.
I'd be surprised if you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a British car. A Berkeley B.95 was mine. It's a little fiberglass with aluminium subframe. They made three-wheelers in the UK at that time, and still, I don't know, three-wheelers come under a motorcycle license taxation. So it's a lot cheaper. So a lot of three-wheelers, Robin Reliant, you might have seen on various programs, but and there's a little three-wheeler with not mine, but the ones I started with a three-cylinder, two-stroke motor, 400 cc or so, and mine was a four-wheel version, front-wheel drive with a Royal Enfield 650, 700 cc motor.
Okay.
Front-wheel drive did have a reverse gear in it, regular gear shifts, great sliding gear shift, uh, four forward, one reverse, and probably weighed not much more than 800 pounds fully up
Yeah.
with fuel, the engine, everything.
Yep.
Yeah, these were little. These were little. And as we were talking during the pre-show
Oh,
here,
tiny.
yeah, in fact, so founded in the mid 50s, 56, I think, and then
56.
Yep.
only lasted for a few years, 4 or 5 years, and then kind of went bankrupt. But they're such sharp looking little cars.
Yeah, a great little car. They are tiny. I mean, it was two seats. I believe they did make a four-seat, but I never saw one of those. Mine had a removable hardtop. I didn't have a ragtop for it. Front-wheel drive, Renault running gear, I believe, and it was just a little blast to drive. No, it was very economical as far as.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, so how did you acquire this car? I think there's a maybe interesting story, maybe infamous story.
Well, my girlfriend at the time in Scotland had her brother had this thing in pieces in the shed,
Oh.
completely stripped out, just the body and then all the bits
Mm-hmm.
and pieces. And I remember hadn't saw it, and I saw it, and I said, no. So he sold it to me for something like, I don't know, at that time, £15 sterling, which was probably about, I don't know, $50,
Yep.
something equivalent, something like that, in pieces. Shipped it down to where I was working on a farm. I was studying agriculture. I was working on a farm down near Edinburgh, and he was working in Edinburgh, probably. So he helped me. Did most of the work, put it all back together again. And I drove it for a year or two. Had some problems with the engines. Tended to lose con rods and put them outside of a crankcase.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I sold it, and I believe I've found some pictures online of a later owner when it was in pretty poor state, and then another picture when it was fully restored. And it's the same one because the registration is the same. The registration always stayed with the car. So I don't know if no, I don't have any pictures I can show you immediately, but
But that's how you were able to find the car so easily, right? Just
yeah,
remembering those numbers, right? And
yeah. The license tag was WSP11.
okay,
Easily remembered.
right,
Then
and it stays for the car with the
it
car
stays with the
forever.
car. Yeah,
Even if you lose the plate, they'll get you a replacement plate for
yeah,
it. Gotcha, gotcha.
yeah,
And
yeah.
is that unique to the United Kingdom?
I don't know, honestly. I
Okay.
believe it is. Now,
Okay.
if you have a custom plate, a vanity
Mhm.
plate, then you can keep that. But normally, the license registration goes with the car.
Yeah.
Um, and no,
And
and it actually tells you the license for letters, WSP. I don't know which town it came from,
Oh
but
wow.
each town will have its own
Okay.
coded numbers or
So
letters.
that was the DMV in the town.
Equivalent.
the
Okay.
Yeah.
locality.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting because the plates here, every plate I've ever had that wasn't a vanity plate, it's just this kind of random, meaningless string of
Yep.
numbers. So to
Yep.
build a little bit of intelligence into the number that you're seeing, I think is really, really clever.
Yep. Yep. So that was my first, and I had a couple of other, not very, Morris Oxfords and various other, Mini Coopers and so on. And then MG Midget was my next sports car,
Mm-hmm.
which was, it handled well, but
Mm-hmm.
didn't have my 1100cc motor, four-cylinder.
Yep.
Uh, uh,
A little
then
more
I had
power.
MGB. The MGB was a new car, my first new car.
Okay.
And that lasted till I came over here, and then a couple of runarounds, and eventually a Porsche 944.
Yep. And that was 1986, did you say?
1983, I came over. In
Okay.
1986, I got this secondhand um, Porsche 944.
Okay. Nice. And that's what really got you into Porsches,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Gotcha. But you were already, if I remember from the pre-show, you were already into racing from
Oh,
an early age, right?
yes. Very lucky. I was at boarding school in England, 2 miles from Silverstone racetrack, which at that time hosted most of the Formula One, a lot of motorcycle races and sedan tin tops, sports car races, and very interesting. A friend of mine at school, his uncle had been a Formula One Lotus driver for a short time. I don't think for long. He was a motorsport, one of the editors of one of the motorsport magazines, and he would take the two of us up to Silverstone for the Grand Prix, and got to meet a gentleman called Raymond Baxter, who was a TV commentator, and he took us under his wing and took me into drivers' meetings. I met Jim Clark many times, talked to
Oh
Jim Clark,
wow.
Graham Hill,
Tim Clark.
Joe
Yeah.
Bonnier, Siffert, Rodriguez, all the drivers of the 60s. Jackie Stewart, I only just briefly met, but So a lot of and I actually was introduced into a driver's meeting. He brought me into a driver's meeting, and I was just standing around talking to him. So, and then I'd go to all the motorcycle. I was very big into motorcycles. I'd go to all motorcycle races. I'd hear them from school. On Saturdays, I could hear them 2 miles away. And I'd hear that, and ears would prick up, and I'd bicycle or hitch a ride 2 miles to the track, skip in through the fence, and to all the sports car races. And I sort of got really interested in a 904 Porsche 904 Carrera, which had come as fairly new in those days, I think, and up against the Camaros and this V8s. It was a beautiful little car. And that really attracted me to them.
Yeah, if I can hop in here, Doug.
Please.
Dirk, so so when you were coming up learning how to drive, you were obviously driving from a very early age. You said, 11, getting a hold of things. How was learning to drive then different from what you see nowadays, kids learning how to drive? Do you think the way you did it, being able to sort of noodle around a little bit earlier, was better? Do you think there's more kind of a formal education now?
Very difficult, because I got all my licenses. In UK, you had to be 17 to get a car license. And most people, more than 50%, failed their driver's license first time.
Oh, wow.
It was a very strict, they took you out in town to take you on hills.
In town?
In town, park you on hills, red lights on the hill. You'd have to do a correct sequence with the handbrake. And these were all stick shifts. We didn't... If you passed your test in a automatic, which was rare in those days, you were restricted to automatics.
Oh, wow.
If you passed your test in the stick shift,
that's interesting.
Manual, you could drive anything. So it was difficult to get your license. And I'd be driving on farms. I'd lived in the country, and I'd helped farmers out driving tractors and stuff. So it was apart from learning the highway code and the legal aspects, which was, it was very, very simple for me to get a license.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've had interviewed people, I want to say just recently, and their first cars were really tractors, because they grew up like you did on a farm, and they were always helping their parents out or running little errands here or there, and it was a wonderful way to learn. Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah. No, that was Kroom and Cash. So I'm curious, and this is just about your Porsches that you own today. You have a 88 911 Targa, and you have a 71 914 6, being the flat six engine, that uses a race car. What I'm a big fan of air-cooled Porsches. Of course, they're so expensive now to buy that everybody wants one. What is the best thing about owning an air-cooled Porsche, and what is the worst thing about owning one?
Worst thing is they're expensive. So if you damage it, it's going to hurt more than it would. When I bought mine I bought my 88 car Targa in 1998, I think it was 10 years old. And it was okay. I'd race it. I'd take it on the racetrack, no problem. Nowadays, some of those cars are up in the $100,000.
Yes.
So that's kind of a disadvantage in a way, because it's a rarity, but it puts a price on your wallet. They are very reliable. They handle beautifully. They're different handling. It's advisable to learn how to handle them with the rear engine, weight over back. The advantage with that is when you come out of a corner and you accelerate, the weight transfer to the back, puts some weight on the rear wheels and gives you better acceleration. Wears out the rear tires a lot quicker, because the weight's 60 or more percent on the back, and you go through about two sets of rears, one set of front tires normally. Parts are expensive generally. Brake pads and so on, the consumables are but anything more serious can get difficult to find some of these older cars. It's 30 some years old.
Yep.
So bits do wear out, and
Yep. But yeah, they're collector's items, and I don't know when it happened, but the even the water 996 when it came out, nobody liked it, and now I think it was Magnus Walker somehow said, "Hey, it's not a bad car," and then the prices on those started going up.
Yep, they're very capable. I mean, when it first came out, everyone, all us, when the old 356s gave way to 911s, all the diehards were, oh, no, we can't do that. And then when, the air-cooled in 97 died out with the 996s, and everyone said, no, they're the Cayennes, and everyone's...
Yep.
But no, the water-cooled ones are very, very capable. The suspension's way more advanced. All the systems more advanced. It's a lot heavier. I don't think they're as much fun to drive. I think the old air-cooled ones are you're more involved. You're more connected. My 911 Targa doesn't have power steering, doesn't have ABS, doesn't have anything like that. It's just very basic. And you can feel everything. You're in it. You're involved with it much more than the newer cars. And there are no artificial nannies to help get you out of a problem. You're on your own. Right.
And I know they're not super popular. They didn't make a ton of them, but the 914, so 914 being a mid-engine car, right?
Yeah.
Would you consider that superior on the track?
In some ways, handling, it's neutral. It does have a tendency because it will spin like a top.
Okay.
But usually it will stay on the track. When they spin around the center. And whereas the 911, if that spins, it will do a much wider circuit.
Right.
Possibly go off track or maybe hit something. So 914s are much more predictable, much more finicky. The edge that when things go sideways, they go sideways in
so to speak. Yep.
Very much more quickly than we would in a and again, it's more involvement, being more tied into the car. I think that's where I get my particular the same when I was flying and so on. I was involved.
Yep. Not on cruise control, so to speak. Yep. So I did want to ask you something new. What is this is a new question we started asking our listeners, our guests, pardon me, and listeners too, if they'd like to be asked on the show. What was the most dangerous car you've owned or been in?
I would have to say my ex-father-in-law's Wartburg.
Yep.
3-cylinder, 2-stroke. Brakes were marginal, optional, you might call them. It was a fun little car, and it was actually surprisingly peppy for what it was. I think maybe 1,200 cc, 1,000 cc. I'm not sure. They're pretty small. It was a little station wagon type thing. But he bought it new from East Germany back in the, I guess, later 60s, and actually took it back to East Germany to get it serviced at the factory in East Germany. So that was one of my, drove that a few times. Not that I was worried about damaging it or scared of my father-in-law or ex. It was just a question that I'm not sure if he's going to stop going down a hill.
But he loved the car, and this is not the first time I've heard of a Wartburg. Christian, who did we have on the show that grew up in East Germany, and it was his first car, and I think he owns one. He lives on the Eastern Shore.
Chris from season 1 or early season 2, and it didn't click until Dirk was talking about it just now. Yeah, he has one or two, and he just loved their gracelessness and their boxy shape.
Yep.
I think he still has a couple. I think.
Yeah, they look a little bit like the Saab 99, I think it was, the boxy Saab had a Ford three-cylinder motor in it. But yeah, and then some of Triumph Spitfires I drove were a little iffy on the handling. But I think those were the ones I'd be, apart from maybe on certain race cars on the track with students, have been a bit exciting.
Can imagine. What do you think about that, Doug? Call back to the Iron Curtain. What do you think?
Well, it'd be cool to have a Wartburg come to a high performance driving event.
Oh, we have to make that happen. Have to just putt around.
Yeah,
it would putter around.
Yeah.
Berkeley and a Wartburg for supremacy on the racetrack.
In a race,
we need to do that. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, as we go ahead.
Yeah.
Did you have something, Dirk, or Doug? Did you want to?
Oh, just had MG midgets and MGB. And then got into the Porsches. So.
You've kind of owned it all.
Yeah.
He's been around the track, so to speak. Yeah, I love it. Well, as we guide the podcast gently to the off-ramp here, Dirk, I got to ask you one question on the way out. You mentioned that when you were younger, man, my jaw was just on the floor when you were talking about how, you met people around the racetrack and were exposed to these luminaries, these really internationally famous drivers. And it made me think, you mentioned the name Jackie Stewart. And I think I read a book about him when I was younger. I just thought he was the coolest thing. He was obviously very successful in many different racing disciplines, but became an ABC sports commentator. He was knighted, by the way. So he's Sir Jackie Stewart.
Jackie.
He would call the races on ABC's Wild World of Sports. For those, I was little, but I remember that. I just thought that was so neat. But he became a celebrity here in a way. He did commercials for Ford and for Heineken. So I have to ask you, last questions. What was he like in person? Do you remember? Was he gracious? Was he kind?
I didn't really spend much time with him. I spent more time with Jim Clark.
Yeah.
And Graham Hill, talking to them, spending time with them than I did with Jackie Stewart. Jackie Stewart, they all seemed generally very quiet. A lot of humility. They didn't seem they'd be fun. They'd be standing around drinking beer and at the end of the day and smoking cigarettes and they seemed to have a lot of camaraderie.
He seemed intense, and I would think that it's really a life or death sport when you're going that fast. And I just see the intensity coming off coming off of these people in this discipline. But what a neat memory. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Well, Dirk, it was great to meet you. We appreciate your taking some time out of your day. I'd love to have you back. You can just tell stories for days. We could be going here all night, but Doug will keep you here. But I know you got to go eat dinner here at some point.
I can talk about my air-cooled flying engines.
I'd love to have you back after, maybe later in the summer after Watkins Glen and kind of tell us a little bit about what happened. And that's a big name. And
replay.
Yeah,
that would be great.
So, again, Dirk, we had a great time. Thank you for making the time. It was fantastic meeting you.
Well, thank you very much. Great meeting you guys.
Indeed. You have just heard the high-revving, low-mileage, late-modeled Herd Round the World Authoritative podcast on Automotive Nostalgia. He's Doug. Reach him at doug@carslove.com. I'm Christian. Reach me at christian@carslove.com. And this was Dirk, one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet, and he will be back. So please follow and tell a friend. If you like what you've heard, leave a review. We're also at carslove.com and check out our link tree at
linktr.ee/carsloved.
He never misses a mark. I am sure we'll see you at the next local car show, showroom, race strip, or concourse. As always, we appreciate your taking a laugh with us, and we'll see you next time.